right side, up the middle, first down, stiff arms, hop, skips at the 40. P-Rod.
Mayfield, the fade to the corner to Shepard. He got it.
Mixon. Touchdown.
Marquise Brown behind the defense for an Oklahoma touchdown.
5. Murray lofts one up for Campbell.
Oh my gosh.
What a catch!
Hurts, wide open, CD in space, CD Lamb still running, hits the corner, CD
Moved. Purdy, can he rescue this? Purdy lofts it up. Jump ball, and it is intercepted!
up, throws.
Oh, what an interception! Oh my gosh! DJ Graham! Give me that, Odell!
Welcome back, Sooner Nation. This is the AnythingOU Podcast, the Chris and Drew Show. Today we have a great guest, Mr. Steve Stutsmen. Steve, how you doing, man?
What's going on, fellas?
I also have my main man, my co-host, Mr. Drew England. Drew, what's up?
Oh, not much, man. Just coming off a good weekend, watching our softball girls, kick some ass. So
Oh yeah,
that was
big
pretty
time.
good. So
I didn't get to watch because
yeah.
ESPN.
Well, listen, I listened to Plank and because ESPN didn't broadcast any, but that's for another day.
Yeah, that'll be for the Sooner summary. So check that out.
Yeah,
Who doesn't show 1 versus 3 on ESPN?
exactly.
That's exactly what I tweeted out. But
Got the cornhole invitational though.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Thank the Lord we had the cornhole.
Yeah.
Good Lord. For those of you that didn't know, Steve Stutsmen is the dad of Danny Stutsmen, linebacker at the University of Oklahoma. And we're going to jump right into questions. So, Steve, talk about your recruiting. And as a player, what was that process like? What other schools besides Baylor were you interested in? And why did you ultimately choose to go to Baylor?
Well, obviously it's a lot different than it was back then. So, trying to find these little hidden gems all across the United States, you got to give some kudos to those coaches. But back when I was playing, it was the Southwest Conference. So, Arkansas was in there. I got recruited by Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Nebraska, BYU, Florida. I mean, I had a number of offers. I think it was, I don't know now, everybody's arguing. I didn't have stars, so they had Parade. I was the number 1 tight end in the nation, Parade All-American. If you look, it was Emmitt Smith, Junior Seau, some of those guys on that list. So I guess back then it was the blue chips. They were called recruits were called blue chip recruits. And I came from a small town in Texas, Dangerfield, Texas, and a guy that was All-American at Baylor, Thomas Everett, who went on to have a good career and was awesome. So as I was going through getting the recruiting process and try to weed things out, he, somebody I looked up to and admired, and he kind of steered me that way. And that's kind of how I got led down the Baylor path. And it goes to relationships. Surely could have went to a number of different schools and probably been fine, but that's what got me to Baylor.
Now,
As far as from a parent perspective, you talked about how it's definitely a different recruiting process, but what advice did you give him during when he was picking a school? How difficult is it now versus when you were recruiting, or was it more difficult then to what it is now? Or just kind of talk about the parent perspective now.
I told him, I said, look, man, I try to let him go through his own, it's his own process. But I said, look, it's at first it's going to be awesome. You're going to be in awe. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be, man, I can't believe these schools are wanting me, and that's due to all the hard work. And then there's going to be a point where you're going to go, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. What do I do? How do I, getting pulled, several different ways, and with Danny, unfortunately with the pandemic, they shut down, physical, visits from coaches, and also he couldn't really take any visits to some campuses when he got really there at the end. But I did take him on a bunch of, I took him on quite a few unofficial visits on our dime, because I didn't want him to have that pressure, because if you don't know if you guys know, man, once you're on the university's dime, you step off that plane or you pull in their parking lot, you're getting full court press to commit when you're there. So I didn't really want him to do that. And then when the pandemic arose and he was just, he would be on the phone literally hours when he'd get home from practice or just coaches. And I said, look, man, they're so simple. You want to narrow it down, you announce your top 6 and 75% of all that will go away. And, he did that. And then from there, he chose his 6 and then chose his final, where he wanted to go. So it was neat, looking back at, what he was doing and how he was going through it. You could see, like I said, it was a metamorphosis from, wow. And then he was just stressed out there at the end, man. But that's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Sure.
People don't, I think, understand just that perspective. And it's cool to see that you had both sides of that. You had it as a player being recruited, and then again to see it as a parent. People like the normal fan or people like that don't understand the pressure that these D1 guys go through, because they just see, oh, well, they're getting scholarships from everywhere, and then it's not that hard to pick. Well, yeah, but you're not in their shoes. And that is, and I've had friends and stuff like that. I didn't play high level, Division I sports. I played baseball in college at a small Christian school. And then I took up golf, and, probably should have taken up golf earlier and maybe would have had a scholarship or something like that. But the pressure that some of my friends were under in high school and things like that, and I'm just like, holy cow, that is, And so just talk about that in a sense, and just the weight that kind of, ultimately comes off of you when you do decide your school of choice.
Well, I know for me, it allowed me to focus when I was going through it. Once I made a commitment and verbaled, it just, hey man, I got to be a student athlete for my high school, enjoy the high school track, played basketball and ran track and got to go to the prom. You got to do all that good stuff. So, it's, that's why, when Danny was doing it and going through the pressures, he's like, well, should I graduate early? Now you got kids that they skip out on all that, man. You only get to go to high school once. And, what's funny is, Danny, most of his class went early enrollees and missed out on all that. And then when Danny got to the university, nobody knew who he was. They didn't have a clue because, he hadn't gone through a spring. But that doesn't mean he wasn't working his butt off, man. That guy was working, grinding. But he's also at the end of the year, end of the day, he was enjoying his senior season. Being his senior year of school with his friends, and I don't know if he got to go to prom, but he got to experience some of those things, even though through a pandemic, that you can never ever go back and get, man. So it's kind of, and we did talk to Oklahoma and said, hey, is it necessary? They're like, no, it's not necessary. So, do you get like a little bit of an edge up? You have to, man. You're there learning the playbook. You're getting a jump. But man, football isn't everything in life. I mean, if you're short term, if you're just short term goal, what's going on? Maybe, but there's a whole lot more to it. And I'm glad he was able to enjoy his senior year. And then once that pressure was relieved, he had a heck of a. He got to do things he never would have got to do had he had, graduate early. So,
yeah, that's well said.
And I got to ask this side question real quick, just because I'm curious. When we play Baylor, what shirt are you going to be repping? Are you going to be repping your alma mater, Baylor, or are you going to be wearing OU?
Played Baylor. I had OU, man. I was up through everybody. And, hey, look, I was telling my buddy, I said, look, if OU is going to get beat, at least it got beat by Baylor. I mean, I hate to.
Yeah.
but no, I'm not. Hey, I'm 100% Danny, and it's when they're not playing Oklahoma, I root for them for against other teams, and just like anybody else would. But no, I'm full crimson, and cream. That's for sure.
Right on. So talk about like in your playing days, and you talked about this, and I watch a lot of old, 30 for 30s and things like that. And, back in my dad talks about the old Southwest Conference all the time. Talk about your favorite moments in your playing days, playing against some of those guys back in the day, because there's quite a group of talent down in the Southwest Conference. Just talk about your favorite memories of playing at Baylor.
We got to 91. We knocked off the defending national championship champions in Colorado. I don't know if you guys remember that when they won the national championship. So that following year, we went to Boulder and ended up beating them 16-13. That was cool. Obviously playing Texas every year, Texas A&M. I mean, those are big rivals. Everybody doesn't really know about Baylor, man. Baylor, those teams are rival. Those are rivalry games. Arkansas was tremendous. We used to go down to Fayetteville. I used to play Little Rock and Fayetteville, and it was Vietnam, man, because you'd be standing there. And we played, we played Nebraska. Just missed beating them, and played Oklahoma. Got kicked by them. But, my funny story to Oklahoma, man, you stand on the sidelines and all you could see was the top of Barry Switzer's head because they ran that option. So everything was downhill. So the field was crowned. So you could literally stand on one side. You could see barely. So playing Oklahoma was cool.
That was on the old AstroTurf, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
My dad always talks about that. He goes, "This grass now, you have no idea." He goes, "We used to come to games in the old AstroTurf, man." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
It wasn't forgiving. It didn't have little rubber BBs like it does now. You at least got some.
That was straight up carpet.
Yeah, hard carpet for sure.
So after your playing days were over, what did you end up doing, and where did the direction of life just take you? What are you up to now? And if you could go back, would you change anything? And if so, why?
No, you can't look back. I had some injuries, and would I've liked to have had a long, lustrous career in the NFL? Yeah, I bounced around the Arena Football League for a while, and at some point you're like, man, I got to work, man. So I went into management with Sherwin-Williams Company for a number of years. Of course, met my wife at Baylor and moved to Florida. Went up the corporate ladder, and at some point I decided to go out on my own, opened up a painting and waterproofing company, and did that for 10 years. Or I still have that company, and then opened up another company, drywall framing commercial. So we have, we're doing that. I have a partner, and we're developing some real estate. And so it's been good. I've got to raise two awesome kids, and, my wife of 30 plus years. Been with her over 30, we'll be 30 this year. But so it's been great. We didn't have the transfer portal back when I was, and everybody's like, well, what do you think about the transfer portal? I'm like, hey, if I had it, I probably wouldn't have been at Baylor, to be honest, because I was a speed tight end and receiving tight end, and they brought in a guy, my offensive coordinator from Clemson, who ran the old option. They didn't use tight, so there was no passing. So it's a whole lot different, but definitely not, don't look back. I always say this too. I tell Danny, I said, look, I may not have made millions playing football, but I've made millions because of football. And that's because of how it led me to education, led me to meet people. It's been great. So great sport. Yeah. Just like any sports, you can gain all those qualities that everybody looks forward to in businesses and corporations that just define you as a person.
Yeah, that's so good, man. I think that value, that aspect of, first of all, team sports, what it teaches you and things like that, and then how it can propel you, off the field and to get you into things and build relationships with people and things like that. Because like you said earlier, you made a good point that sports is not everything. And I think a lot of times we focus so much on that. And, hey, if you're a, big time draft pick, whatever it is, and you have a future in the NFL or whatever it is, hey, go for it by all means. But, there's life after sports. And I think that was a good point that you made. So that's good stuff.
No, yeah, thanks. Sure. Yeah, a lot of people don't really realize that, but it's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
No, and I really loved how you said, I might not have made millions in my playing days, but I made millions because of football. I love that. That was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So, and back to that transfer portal stuff too, and I know you're you said you probably wouldn't have as a player. Did Danny ever have any, thoughts of transferring or anything like that?
I'd be lying if I said he didn't. Everybody's like, it was brilliant that Bob Stoops came in. No one person's, Oklahoma's university. All that's great, but remember, how do you get those kids to Oklahoma or these universities? It's relationships and deep rooted. So he had a great relationship with Coach Odom. I have a good relationship with Coach Odom. Love the guy. And Danny's like, what do we do? I said, man, we got to trust what's going on. We'll see what's happening. So, it would have been easy if he wanted to go, he could have gone. But he trusted the process and who they're going to bring in, and they brought in all the right people. So as of right now, there's no reason to think that Oklahoma's not going to miss a beat. I don't think so.
Absolutely. And I know Sooner Nation is thankful that Danny stuck around because he's a fan favorite for sure. We all, we love him. And so we on the Twitter spaces, everything like that, when you get a chance to hop on, we always have a good time. So like, and going into that, you're talking about the current staff. What's your opinion as far as the current staff versus the old staff? What are the differences? What are some of the things that you've seen and kind of the culture that Coach Venables is building?
Man, I see, you see a ton of experience, not only experience, but also, you got position coaches that have had defensive coordinators that you've had. You got a few on there that have head coaches experience. I think Ted Roof's been a head coach as well as being a linebacker coach. Of course, Venables been at the top level. I just like that they reached out to these guys and got guys that, with Levy and Venables that had some ties at OU. It's going to be different, and the way it's going to be different is they understand they're being, they're preparing OU for the next level, which is SEC ball, and I think that's one thing that's huge is it's a whole different makeup and a whole different grind, and if you see that by the way they're going after these bigger guys and these gap fillers and the linebacker scrap. I mean, it's going to be totally transformed for sure. But overall, it's I got no problems with the old staff was catered to that type of offense and defense that they had. I mean, that was a system. So, they had the best coaches for that system. Now you have a totally different system. The new system has the best coaches for that system. Which is, that's, you're not putting the pieces together as you're going. Venables already has a system in place. He's got the pieces, the right fit, and that's what's going to make this transition so much easier.
No, for sure. And I think, as well as many of other people, I've been very high on OU, naturally because I'm biased, but also because I don't think we missed a beat. I think we got better. And I think we will be better from this coaching staff over time. And it's great to see defensive recruits. I mean, that's been something on all of our minds when you have a national championship worth offense in 2018, but you have a horrible defense to back it up. So it's nice to see that we're getting recruits from all sides of the ball, and we have coaching on every side of the ball. And which leads me to my next question. What are you most excited to see for Danny moving forward? Is it the atmosphere he's in? Is it a certain thing you want to see him accomplish playing, or just anything, academically?
Well, I think what excites me the most is, OU fans or nobody's got to see Danny in his best. I mean, when you're rotating out guys, 3-4 series there, 3-4, play, you don't get he gets better as the game goes on, man. That guy his motor doesn't quit. And, that's one of the things I feel is, players get into a groove. They start to feel things. Drew, I mean, sometimes, when you're hitting the ball well, brother, you could play 36 holes if you get, but if you're going to walk away and then skip 2 holes and then try to pick up, I just think that, when they see him, getting a full game and just what he can do, it's going to be exciting because I know what he can do. I mean, everybody gets a little glimpse of it, but he, there's a ton of talent on that defense side.
Yeah, and I think too, and I've told a lot of my friends and people like this, and me and my dad talk Sooner sports all the time. He grew up Sooner fan from the time he was born, and he told me the other day, he said, "Son, we're just scratching the surface." He said, what we've had in the past and what kind of culture Coach Venables and that defensive staff, and even Lebby on the offense, bringing in a veteran quarterback that knows the system, things like that, that was huge. But he said, we're scratching the surface of what the potential we have in that locker room and, getting these guys to play to their full, potential, because he said, we got some dudes in that locker room that are ready to get after it. And so that's got me excited. I know we talked about this the other day. The spring game's coming up, the 23rd of April. I think that whole stadium, they may have to open the upper deck,
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. I'm really excited about that. All those things that you just talked about.
No, absolutely, man. It can't get here fast enough, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Has Danny told you any fun stories about Coach Spinney and just the horrible workouts I'm sure he's gone through so far?
Nah, he told me at one, the linemen kind of slacked off one day, man. They had to come back and repeat a workout.
Wow.
Yeah, because one guy messes up or a couple, it's the whole platoon. So, he's in a good group. He's got, but other than that, it's these guys. Everybody's like, oh, Smith, yeah, it's going to be hard. But these guys want to be pushed hard, just like with all stories from old. But when those older guys were going through it, they were hungry. They were hungry to get through those workouts too. And then when they're looking back, it's like, oh my God, yeah, I get it, But yeah, he's enjoying it. He's already, I think he said he's already up to, he's 240 already, and he's like, man, I could beat 250 easy. Without losing anything. I said, well, there's no need. I think they want him playing at 240. He's already there.
He's like and I think a lot of people will use this analogy. Danny's like a caged animal ready to just come unloose. And I'm excited to see him and other guys on that defense, get after it. Like you said, the golf analogy I think was really good, because a lot of times you get in a rhythm and, you have to wait behind a group that's playing slow, and you're just like, come on, and you get out of rhythm. And it's kind of like that same thing, you get a couple plays, they pull you off and you're like, come on, I'm just kind of breaking a sweat here. So hopefully, we'll start seeing some of these guys, get in and get after it.
I think you will. I mean, if you look at how Venables ran his defense at Clemson, man, those guys stayed in there. As long as they're getting it done, they're going to, that platoon is going to be in there. So,
no, for sure,
it'll be different for sure.
Well, Steve, we do appreciate your time, man. I know we got you on Valentine's Day, so didn't mean to get you on.
You guys are good, man.
Well, we do appreciate you for coming on. If you ever want to come back on, if Coach V allows it, bring on Danny. We'd love to have a parent and athlete kind of retrospect on how everything going down.
What they're doing now, because I know they can't go on space right now. They can't do any of that. So it'd be a little time, but yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to.
For sure. And definitely we're going to get together in Norman and play some golf. That's a given.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
That'll be on.
I'll bring my sticks.
Y'all might have to play ahead of me, because I don't think I could keep up with you guys. But
you come on with it. It's fine.
I'll definitely give it a. I'll definitely give
it
a
good time. You can be the DJ and provide the booze. So
that's fine. I'll do that. All right, Steve. Well, we'll let you go, brother. We really appreciate you for coming on, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Great rest of your week.
Guys, appreciate it, man. Look forward to your other podcast.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's been everything for the AnythingOU podcast, the Chris and Drew Show. We do appreciate you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed Mr. Steve Stutsman, man. He was a fun guest to have. And, man, that's all I got. Drew, you got anything you want to leave the people with, man?
Yeah, I got just a couple upcoming events on the schedule. Men's basketball tomorrow night at the LNC against Texas. So hopefully we get a win out of that. So close against Kansas. And as always, thanks so much for your support, for your likes, all that stuff, for your shares, all that. But if you haven't already, go over to that YouTube page, hit the subscribe button. We can't thank you enough. Hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of this new content. And as always, Boomer.
Sooner.